So there's this resting the body, resting the emotions, resting the mind, which is very good news for the body and the emotions and the mind. However that rest is found, it's legitimate. It's legitimate rest. Then there's the issue of discovering the truth of who you are. So the way that this particular question this time was asked is how to remain in the state of stopped. But stopped is not a state. When I say stop, or be still, or I refer to silence, stillness, I'm not referring to a state. This is very important to hear. You can get your mind to a state of relative rest, and your body can get to a state of relative rest, and your emotions and your circumstances. But the stillness that I'm referring to is the stillness that is always still. Has nothing to do with what you get it to do. It is, by its nature, still. It is, by its nature, stopped. And all movement, all going, appears and exists and disappears back into this stateless stillness. A state has a beginning and a middle and an end. There's this state and then there's this state. And they're different states, and you know them from your own experience. They're happy states and sad states, and altered states and mundane states, high states and low states. But the stateless presence of being is stillness. So you don't remain in the state of stopped. Who you are is this stillness. You are already this stillness. Your mind may be active with thoughts about activity or thoughts about trying to stop. But that's all occurring in the statelessness of the presence of being, which is stillness. So if you can just, for our time together, and honoring investigation, get it out of your mind that stillness is something you do, or can do, or succeed at doing, or fail at doing, or try to do. And you recognize that those impulses to try to do stillness are coming from the activity of the mind that is appearing in stillness. And that stillness is not a dead, blank stillness. It is consciousness. It is awareness itself. So the thought, I have to really get still. Why can't I get still? I'm trying to get still, is being observed by, heard by, experienced by stillness itself. The stillness is already present. The awareness of all activity, all success, all failure, all comings and going is already still. And you are that awareness. That is who you are. You think yourself to be a thought. You follow this? You think yourself to be a thought. And then, because you think yourself to be a thought, you think you have lost stillness. And so you think another thought of how to recover what has been lost. And then another thought about your success or failure in that recovery. And then another thought about how great or how horrible you are because you succeeded or you failed. You must recognize this. All the while, there is this simple, vast, boundless stillness that is aware of the whole play, untouched by the whole play, experiencing the whole play, experiencing the suffering of the play, profoundly experiencing the suffering of the play, and never suffering. And all that separates you from recognizing yourself as this, not from getting this, or keeping this, or holding this, but recognizing yourself as this that is eternally still, is following some thought that says you are not, or following some thought that says you are.